Welcome to the Feed Weekly. Very excited to have a couple of special guests joining us this week. Tim from Invivo Wines, Dave Ryan from Black Pineapple, one of Auckland's illustrious bartenders who's created a remarkable little drink that we're going to talk about. But today, wanted to dive into the story of Invivo because you're a wine company that's doing things a little bit differently in a really, as you said, Tim, just before, a really fun and approachable way. And if there's one thing that you're probably known for in the marketplace, it's your incredible collaborations with people like Graham Norton. And it is Graham Norton's vodka that brings us here today. But I'd love to ask Tim, tell me a little bit about that collaboration and how it started and the kind of journey that you've gone on working with somebody, you know, who's high profile in TV, but is all of a sudden, you know, got a reputation for having an excellent palate.
Yeah, look, basically, I was watching the show here in New Zealand around about 2011 and noticed that Graham enjoyed a glass of wine on every show and his guests were drinking wine as well. We had just started at that point and started selling to the UK. So I had the idea to call up the show and find out where they were getting their wine from. Turns out they were just buying it from the local shop. So I said, hey, hang on, we're a wine producer. Would you like our wine on the show? And they said, and I'll give it to you for free. So they said, okay, well, Graham needs to try the wine first to see what he thinks. So I sent them 12 bottles. They came back and said, Graham really loves the Sauvignon. Great, well, let's strike up a deal. So since 2011 to today, we still supply 12 bottles every week to the show. So Graham drinks our wine and then, all his guests are drinking the wine. So for me, it was an opportunity to have our wine in front of all these big A-list celebs. They all take home a bottle as well in a fairly cost-effective way. And, for the first show, Rob and I, my other co-founder, flew up to the show where we had our wine there and we had Snoop Dogg drinking the wine. And it was amazing. And we met Graham and chatted about what we're doing as a company. And he was quite interested in the industry. And then fast forward 3 years later, when we had a really good relationship with him, we kept on going and meeting with him, and we asked him, would he be keen to make a wine with us? So next year will be our 10th vintage with Graham, super hands-on. We meet with him every year, and he tastes through the wines and things.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about what that tasting process is, because even though New Zealand has a reputation as being a great winemaking country, we're still relatively young in that space. But a lot of people possibly don't know what goes into actually creating the flavor profile of the wine. It's not quite as simple as pick the bunch of grapes off the vine, put them in a bucket, stomp them with your feet, put it into a barrel, and then bottle it a few months later. So talk a little bit about what that tasting process and blending process was like.
Yeah, so we wanted Graham, and he wanted to be more than just a name on the label. So the first year was a bit of fun where we picked 10 kilos of grapes in Marlborough. I put them in a chili bin with ice in a large suitcase and checked that suitcase in, got to Heathrow, didn't declare that I had 10 kilos of Sauvignon Blanc grapes that I'd picked 24 hours later, then took them to the set of his show with a bucket. I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm not the winemaker, my co-founder is, right? And he actually did stand on those with his feet on the set of his show and produced these 2 bottles of the ugliest juice you've ever seen. It was like dark green. I collected them on the set from the footstock Sauvignon Blanc. He couldn't believe that I'd actually taken them to the UK. And then I flew those back the following day, those 2 bottles, back to New Zealand, and then we climbed up the side of the tank and then poured them into the Sauvignon Blanc tanks. So that, and he writes about it in his book because he couldn't believe we did it. And so that was the first year, a bit of fun. We sold the wine initially just in New Zealand, and it sold really well. The following years, we decided, okay, how can we make this? How can you be properly involved in what wineries actually do? So we got him involved in what's the blending process, which is a process that we all do. It's kind of done behind closed doors in a day. You get all the samples from the vineyard that have just been picked. And so what we do is we fly kind of 8 to 10 samples up. We take them up to the UK or Ireland, and we've been out to Ireland a few times. And he tastes through that harvest of Sauvignon Blanc and Rosé. And then we put those samples together to create the blend for that year, and he signs it off. So that's a really fun sort of 3 to 4 hour process that he has, full control over. He has a different palate to us. So it's great. We have some fun banter, you know, he goes, oh, that sample's a dud, or I don't like that one. And it's a really fun process. We film it every year and release a short film. So our customers in the media can see Graham involved in this process in kind of a unique way. You know, and it's warts and all, right? So, you know, it's a lot of fun.
Just from the conversation about foot stomping to warts and all, thank you for that illustrative picture. It's very delicious.
Yeah.
It's not. So from there, though, you've branched into, I mean, obviously, gin's been having a big renaissance for the last sort of 7 years, but you branched into the gin and now also into the vodka. So, I mean, please just explain that journey.
Okay, so you know, three or 4 years ago, after the blending process, you know, there's quite a lot of wine tasting over there, 3 or 4 hours, and Graham tends to not use the spittoon. So, so we decided, you know, what do you feel like now? And it was, you know, let's have a gin and tonic. And obviously, we'd seen what was happening in gin up in the UK and Ireland in particular, and sort of starting to come through Australia and New Zealand. And so, hang on, Graham, would you be keen to make a gin? You know, we'd love to make one. We drink gin and tonic ourselves and other sort of gin cocktails and things. And he said, yeah, I would actually love to, because I drink it. So he said to us, you know, I'd love it to come from Ireland, and I'm from, you know, Cork. So we flew over to Cork and went down to a distillery in West Cork in a place called Skibbereen, and Dave probably knows what I'm talking about. And and we went down to a little local distillery with Graham and tasted through some gins with their master distiller, and, you know, putting different botanics in there. It was a lot of fun over a day. And that's kind of, so we launched an Irish and a pink gin. And I think with Graham, he wanted to make it, you know, with that pink gin in particular, not a sweet style, still kept it dry, really smooth type of gin using local botanics. And then sort of venturing in the last 12 months to let's make a vodka. Again, he's a vodka drinker as well. So the local distillery in Ireland also could make vodka for us and use a local, you know, the Irish potato as part of those ingredients, which is really important to him. He just loves it coming from his local town, his local area, and it was really important to him. Makes supply chain quite interesting for us because we've got to bring it all the way from Ireland down here. But I think it's a great story. And again, so tasting through vodkas, Graham tasted a whole lot of vodka and signed off this one. And to Dave, as he'll probably tell you soon, it's a really nice, smooth, approachable type of vodka.
Oh, that's fantastic. So one of the things vodka is so versatile as a spirit, because essentially you can make it from any agricultural product that you can convert into, you know, starches and alcohol. And it's just a beautiful process. And traditionally people probably think about potatoes and vodka in more of a Russian context. But of course there is this beautiful kind of, you know, it's half folklore, it's half just modern culture, kind of mythology around the Irishman and the potato. So Dave, I mean, like as soon as you open your mouth, people are going to hear the close relationship and context that you have with the Irish potato. So can you give us your perspective though, as somebody who's working behind the bar and creating flavor and drink experiences? You know, how does that story of I believe the tagline is that there's at least one whole Irish potato in every bottle of the Graham Norton vodka. So tell us about it.
Yeah, as you said, the minute I open my mouth, you can tell I'm not from New Zealand. But I'm a very proud Cork man. When the guys from Invivo approached us at Black Pineapple to do this collab, I was like ecstatic. Frankie, my boss, had a meeting with the guys. They explained about what the vodka was, explained it was from Cork. Them not knowing that I worked here and I'm from Cork, so that was a great little thing for him to go, I think I have someone who might be good for this job. So the guys came and met me. It was great. It's been so much fun, like having chats like with people at home. I had to find like a little link between Graham and I. There's a little video you guys might have seen. It'll be out there in the world now. There's a little tenuous link between us. It's a bit far-fetched, but in Ireland, there's a few degrees of separation between anyone, especially if you're from the same county. Having like been here a long time, it kind of gave me a refreshing look on home, you know, having amazing stuff to come out of Cork, which is great. I get to represent my home county, which is very like the pride. Like I'm a proud Irishman, but even more so, I'm a proud Corkman. So it's nice to be able to represent. And it's the drink is delicious. Like the humble potato, and I have to say potato. In the ad, they make me say potato a lot. And you're giggling away, and I've been here like 13 years, and when the word potato comes out of my mouth, people giggle. And I thought after a while, you know, once I pass the decade mark, it might stop. But no, I just have to accept my fate that people think I sound funny, but that's fine. You know, gets a bit of smiles, gets a bit of laughs. The vodka itself is delicious. Like it's really creamy. Like little hints of vanilla, lovely mouthfeel from the potato. Yeah, it's been amazing. And then just taking that, running with it, like to invent our cocktail. Like we at Black Pineapple get to work with a lot of amazing people, a lot of amazing brands. But this one for me, like really hits home. It's really special, obviously, because it's from Cork. Having someone such high profile like Graham Norton and the guys at Invivo has been really, really cool. And then, yeah, so they were just like, you know, run, go nuts, like do what you want to do. And we sat down, myself, Frankie, and then Ben. We created a drink together, and we're like, let's think outside the box. What do we do? And I was like, can we do a roast potato cocktail? And everyone just kind of went, yeah, let's do it. Why not? So yeah, we take the like deliciousness of the vodka, and then we take all the flavors that you would consider when you're making roast potatoes, and then make cordial from that and ran with it.
Remarkable. So, I mean, vodka's it's a fascinating spirit to work with. And I think one of the things I often say about the New Zealand palate is that if it's big, bold, strong, then it can't be wrong. You know, Kiwis love big, bold flavors. They love, and I think that's part of why gin, and particularly, you know, gins that are using native New Zealand botanicals that are really punchy and peppery and very green and very piney, you know, they've been a really popular trend. Vodka, on the other hand, you know, can be known for being a little bit bland and perhaps an everyday consumer perspective, but it's really not. It's an entirely different approach to spirit, where it is about mouthfeel and it's about texture and it's about the cleanness of that alcohol. So when you're working with it as a base for a cocktail and creating it, what are you most looking for to make the most of the spirit that you've got at hand?
The thing, yeah, we like, as I say, the vodka has to be clean. People do, you know, when they think of vodka, it's like, there's not a lot going on. You know, there's no flavor, but obviously they're totally wrong. You know, you appreciate that. We don't want to overpower the vodka, so we want to take flavors that accentuate it. It's the mouthfeel as well, in particular for this drink. That's why I'm going to serve it. I'll show you how to make it in a little while, but we served it up. We didn't want to do anything on the rocks, just because we want the clean flavor to come through. I think the herbs and stuff that we use to make our cordials, so we kind of run with sage, thyme, black pepper, salt, mint. Those are like the bold flavors of the rosemary, I think match really, really well with the creaminess of the vodka. It's got hints of vanilla that goes alongside mint a little bit, that we thought went really well. So getting those nice, like, clean flavors defined, like we go through a whole process to make our cordial, like it's step by step. But obviously there's like woody herbs, they go in first, your lighter herbs, and then your like super light herbs. So we go rosemary, then sage, then mint, let them infuse bit by bit by bit. The process for making the cordial took us a while, because if you leave the herbs too long, they're overpowering. We tried, like, the good thing about R&D in cocktail world is you get to try it and try it and try it. So I've had a nice amount of the Graham Norton vodka over the last few weeks, which has been great. But yeah, we just had to find a happy balance of not going too crazy, but yeah, having enough flavor to lift the vodka, but yeah, not overpower it. And yeah, finding a happy balance It's good. And to be fair, number one is having the great spirit like the Graham Norton vodka makes a massive difference. Like if you've got a great spirit, all you need is the right know-how to accentuate it. You know what I mean? So that as a base is great.
Fantastic. So, Dave, we're going to ask you to make the cocktail for us in just a second. Tim, talk to us a little bit while Dave's getting ready, or he might be good to go. Talk to us a little bit about the strategy of making the Tay-to-tini available in a limited edition cocktail box. Like, what is that about in terms of the strategy or how you want people to engage with the vodka? Obviously, they can purchase it straight off the shelf, but this is an interesting approach.
Yeah, look, we gave the guys at Black Pineapple a blank canvas. Here's our vodka, here's the ingredients, the Irish potato is really interesting. Can you guys do something with that? And sort of left it with them to come up with this idea. And I think, the Tay-to-tini is just fantastic. It's brilliant. We knew Black Pineapple. I've worked with the guys and I've met Frankie over the years through various events around the place. They're the best in the business, right? So for us, it's, this is a really unique, can we own this space? It's a fun space. And, I've had the kit just arrived to me this morning, actually, on my desk, so I'm going to be cracking into it pretty soon. Maybe when it's 12, I don't know. But so I'm going to have a go at it myself, which is a lot of fun. But, we've sent the kit to Graham as well. Can we roll this out internationally? We sell in the UK, we sell nationwide in Ireland at the brand is in basically every grocery store, every store in Ireland and the bars as well. So, New Zealand, we're excited to launch it here, but could this be something that we can take around the world as kind of something proud from New Zealand? And we'll be sending it out to media all around the place. Cool.
All right. Well, so let's crack into it, Dave. Show us the drink, because
I'll stand up, because number one is you can't make a cocktail sitting down. Yeah, you're really lucky, because I'm going to give you a masterclass and you've got a box. So once you pay attention to what I do, then you can make one once we finish the Zoom. So we're going to do a drink, as I said, which is up. So it means it's going to have no ice in the glass, but I'm going to chill it. So cold glass equals cold cocktail, which is really, really important. If we have a lot of talk about how cocktails and food kind of go hand in hand. The reason I'm chilling my glass is the same way that you would heat up your soup bowl if you're going to make soup. So if you made soup, hot soup, put into a cold bowl, it's going to go lukewarm. The opposite happens for the cocktail. If you make a freezing cold cocktail and put it into a room temperature glass, brings up the temp of the cocktail straight away. And ice is very, very, very important. I can't stretch that enough to people. So anyone watching this, if you like cocktails and you're making cocktails, in your freezer, that tiny little tray that you get for free with your freezer, if that's full, I have enough ice. I went to my friend's house the other day for a drink. He's like, do you want a gin and tonic? Absolutely. I was like, I'll help you set up. Where's your ice? He pulled out the little tray. I said, I'm going to the gas station. I'll be right back. So yeah, ice is key. In my freezer, I've got glassware. I've got now Graham Norton gin and vodka, and ice. That's it. There's no food. That is really, really, really important. So again, because this is up, we're going to shake it today. I'll just go you through it step by step. So we've obviously got the Graham Norton vodka. I've had it in my ice, just chilling. What I do recommend to people is if they get it, put your vodka in the freezer. The colder it is, it just helps it out. So we're going to do 50 mils, which is a nice heavy pour of our vodka. So then I'm going to take my cordial. So this is what I talked about earlier. So we've got rosemary, sage, mint, black pepper, salt, and that's it. So yeah, a lot of work, a lot of love, and a lot of R&D went into making that. So it's 35 mils, and I'm pretty sure we made it 35 mils. So I say 30 at some point during the promo. Okay, 35 mils of that in. Shake, when you shake a drink, you got to shake it to wake it. You don't want to rock it to sleep. That's a Frankie Walker classic tagline. If you go into a bar and you just see people like just giving it so unenthusiastic, you just walk away, right? You want to go really hard, really fast. You want to chill your products without diluting it too much. So watch and learn.
Magic, absolute magic.
Okay, in on top. Put a little tap. So there's a couple of ways to shake. I do this. Some people do that. Frankie does that, which is, everyone has their own shake. You want your tin to be nice and frosty. We do master classes, and people are like, "Oh, my hands are getting cold." I was like, "Oh, you're doing one. Try doing 400 in a night." Discard your ice. Give your glass a nice flick, and then pour.
Look at that.
And every last drop. Beautiful. Now, I made a roast potato salt, so this is dried roast potato herbs. Not going to tell you what's in this. This is a little secret. This took me ages to get. So a tiny little pinch in there. And then I should have a lovely olive lemonade. So this brings a little richness, a little salinity, another bit of savouriness, and it's got a bit of lemon as well, which helps. So a little splash on top. And then the guys at Parched did us some parched roast potato dehydrated garnishes.
Okay, so not a potato chip, but a dehydrated potato chip.
I was like, isn't a dehydrated potato just a, well, I said crisp, but it's a chip here. They're like, no, it's a different thing. And it got a little wee peg and clip, and voila. Look
at that. Amazing. Now, seeing as you're the only one that now has the drink in front of you, would you mind giving us a little taste test and walking us through the experience?
I don't mind doing that at all. It is the afternoon. Well, when this
somewhere
the afternoon.
Through the magic of television.
Television. Delicious. So the mouthfeel, it is creamy. That is from the vodka. It's so clean. The herbiness, like when I close my eyes, I can picture eating roast potatoes. Like all the flavors that you would associate with having roast buds is there. The roast potato salt gives just the extra bit of lift. And like you kind of want a bit of salininess to help it keep going. But it's got a nice long finish, but I think that's down to the vodka as well. But it's just really, really clean, and it just tastes like Sunday afternoon to me. And it's hard to explain that, but I do eat roast potatoes every Sunday. So it's just so clean, so fresh. I'm really excited for you guys to try it. I hope we've done Graham proud, but like we at Black Pineapple do try to go out of our way to make sure things are perfect. We want, like, as you said, we are the best in the business in our world. And it just goes down to, if you see what we do behind the scenes, like I'm in our studio, but even right now, there's a brigade of people out there doing their thing, trying to, like, especially with Christmas coming up, all our boxes, like this obviously rolls out later. The Tay-to-tini. And as you said, it's a limited edition. So we do want people to jump on it quick. I think there's like what we sell, obviously we sell a box. There's upgrades, you can buy the kit for us and stuff. But it's a great Christmas present. I think if anyone watching this has an Irish friend, they will love this. Even if you don't have an Irish friend, the amount of Kiwis I've met going, oh, you're from Ireland. Oh, my family's from Ireland. Oh, really great. If anyone is what we call a plastic paddy, which is someone who assumes they're from Ireland, wants to be from Ireland. And look, I love it. If people go, I'm from Ireland, my parents are from Ireland, my grandparents are from, I love it. I love seeing the light in people's eyes going, I'm from Ireland too. So like they would absolutely love this present.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. And like I can't stress enough how good the vodka is just by itself. Like it's in Cork, the colours of Cork are red and white, and it's represented because we've got limestone and sandstone. Now the vodka itself is filtered through like 300 million years of red sandstone. Now, again, I think it says 300 years because I'm Irish and it wants us to say 300, but like Ireland is so old. But yeah, the red sandstone filters it. The water itself for the vodka comes from Mullaghmashire. So Mullaghmashire is on the way to Skibbereen, where Tim went with Graham to do the distilling. My dad is from Castletown Bear, which is a little bit past Skibbereen, so it's like more west. And I used to stop in Mullaghmashire like all the time. So when I got the brief and when I saw the vodka, I read it, I was like, I've been there, I've stepped foot there, I've drank the water there. So that was really, really cool having that amazing connection. I'll give you my little funny tenuous link that we found, which is in the video. So as you say, everyone in Ireland knows each other, and everyone in Cork definitely knows each other. So when the guys are like, find out how you know Graham Norton, I first said, oh, well, I've been to Mullaghmashire, I've had the water. They're like, no, I'll find something better. But, send out the feelers, and literally within 12 hours, my mum rang me going, I found out one of my chefs at work, his wife, she goes for tea with Graham Norton's mum every week. I was like, that's it. We're family. We're family.
Absolute magic. Tim, are you what's your favorite kind of hope for how people engage with this vodka this summer? Are you wanting everybody throwing these bottles around at Christmas and under the tree?
Yeah, look, I'm hopefully not throwing them around, but I think this kit it solves a lot of problems. It's a great, you're getting the vodka and you're getting all those amazing ingredients, which you're going to have to shop around to find, but actually it's all in one. So look, I think what Black Pineapple has done is awesome. I would hope that this is a cool Kiwi and Irish connection started by two guys that didn't really have much money over the years and built this company up, and hopefully people can be proud. But also Graham is involved. And for those that love Graham as well, and as you see him on the show is how he is with us. Like, he's a lot of fun. When we were over there last time, he was just getting married in the weekend, and we went to the pub for a gin and tonic, and we had a vodka as well. And the media came and took a photo of us outside this pub, and they thought it was the stag do for Graham. So yeah, it was a lot. He's just a lot of fun. He's super proud. His name's on that label, and it reminds me of that. We come to him with different things, different ideas, and he turns a lot down. He goes, I don't drink that. Obviously an Irish whiskey would be great, but he said, I'm just not a whiskey guy. And there was, and we could easily try and put one out, but if he's not going to be into it, we're not going to do it. So we're really proud of this. And the vodka, as Dave said, it's a really nice, smooth vodka. You can just have it on ice as well, neat. It's still good. But yeah, excited to try this. We're going to get into it today. And we're going to tell as many people as we can to buy this kit.
Fantastic. Hey, it's been such a delight to have you guys with us. Thanks for taking the time and for sharing the stories. And one of the things that I just love about this is how much collaboration is in this process. It's just such there's just every piece and aspect of the story is about people working together, inviting others into the journey, and each unique set of skills and talent and capability building on the other. And I think that's a great Kiwi business success story, as much as it is just a great cocktail and an excuse to get together with friends. So all the best for the limited edition boxes, and thanks to both of you for everything that you do. Really appreciate having your time today.
Yes, no worries.
Thanks very much. Cheers.